it's not quite 3 yet. So if you're watching the playback, I'm sitting here on my own, waiting for the clock to tick to 3 before I start talking. Hey, Amy. I wish I could hear you actually saying hi back, but I know that you're saying hi back. I'm just waiting a couple minutes before I start my rant. And just so y'all know, I do have a bunch of notes in front of me. So if you catch my eyes glancing, I just want to call myself out in advance that obviously I'm reading notes, but I don't want to forget a thing. So today I want to talk a little bit about listening to your body and what does that even mean? Because everyone says it, and I think everyone thinks that they know what it means, but a lot of us are realizing maybe it's a little more complicated than that. But put simply, listening to your body means that when your body is feeling something, anything at all, you should actually consider it a signal for something rather than just powering through that feeling. I mean, I was talking to my friend today about how, let's take this whole hunger cue thing. For instance, if you feeling hungry is like the only cue that we actively ignore. Like if you need to go to the toilet, you don't wonder if you actually need to go to the toilet. Like you know that you need to go. It's a signal, it's telling you something. So with that, if you kind of like consider that the human race are the only race that exerts energy when they don't need to, like that's kind of crazy. You're not using your energy to hunt or to scavenge or escape, and you barely even use it to get from point A to B. Thank you to cars. We're also the only species that deprives ourselves of sleep on purpose, and we'll be tired, but we'll still wait a few extra hours before we go to sleep, or we will power through the day when we really need a nap. And I know that naps are not as common in our culture as they are in some others, but they're actually sort of, if you can take them and your body's telling you to take them, maybe you really should honor that. And have you ever stopped to think what these, about these signals of fatigue, restlessness, and these aches and pains that you're having? What do they actually mean? They're not just there to annoy you. Like, what are they saying to you? And on the other side of that, when you're feeling like you have extra energy and like a skip in your step, when do you take advantage of that? And what cool things does that mean? Everything that you feel and do is a signal that you can use to make a decision about your own self-care. So if we talk about the culture of ignoring the pain and pushing through just a little bit before I get started on some of the specific signals and how you can react to them, there is 100% a time and place for pushing through and testing your limits. But it is not 100% of the time, ever. And I can relate to that drive to like do now what others are not willing to do. And certainly that attitude has gotten me really, really far. But it has also like grinded me to a halt. And I've had sickness and exhaustion and depression and soreness and injuries, and even like health issues like loss of a period, or mental health, like having anxiety about missing workouts because I'm so obsessed with my performance and I'm also so tired. And being able to push through times like that, those hard times, is definitely an aspect of your life that can bleed out into the rest and make you a really resilient person, which is great. But I do have a truth for you. And that truth is that to be able to stop and rest and scale back workouts and perform some self-care instead of beating yourself down a little further, as often as you do, will make you an even more resilient person. Like it really will. So one more quick thing that I want to address is that before I talk about the signals, those of you might be thinking this to yourself. Okay, like I'm an athlete, so I know and accept that I'm going to feel tired and sore. Like I choose this. This is going to make me grow. And being an athlete is a really hard position to be in. And I mean, I consider myself one too. And we are living in a world where more and more people are living their life as an athlete. And that is the most amazing thing. It's really, really cool. However, we do sort of need the pendulum to swing back just a touch in the other direction and start thinking about the reality of that decision and how far you're taking that decision and how much do you actually know about that decision. So you can train as much as you want. The body is really smart and it's really resilient and durable. But if you're not fueling it and resting it, then you kind of need to get your head on straight with that. Do you really choose your athletic performance over everything else? And when you compare yourself to these other athletes that you're like seeing on social media and documentaries and stuff, do you truly have all of the resources that they have to train as much as they do? And if you don't, then you might be spreading yourself too thin. So do you really choose your athletic performance over your future career and your relationship with others, the pain-free use of your body and your fertility and your ability to say that you lived a full life? Do you really, 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 really choose that? Or do you want to be able to prioritize your workout and body composition goals, but still know that you're taking steps towards your best self and your health? I am not saying that balance is everything, so stop working out so much. That's not what I'm saying at all. Performance and body composition goals and feeling really great all at the same time is like exactly what WAG does and what we're all about. And, working with you to make sure that they don't get the best of you is like our passion, right? So we want you to feel really happy about your body and your performance and your health and your choices. And if you watch like any of our YouTube video documentaries and stuff, we call it a WAG life, where you have everything that you need to kind of perform really, really well, but feel really, really great. Okay, we'll get to it now. Are you ignoring your signals? So it can become really habitual to override your signals. Like, I'm meant to be tired, it's a part of the program, and like the training program, or I'm working on losing weight, so of course I'm like a little bit hungry all of the time, or I'm not sleeping very well, but that's society and that's normal and that's just normal for me. Well, okay, the first thing is to be brutally honest with yourself when I go through these questions, because how tired you feel has nothing to do with your worth. So if you're having like a negative signal and you are trying to ignore it, I just want you to know that if you honor that signal, it has literally got nothing to do with your worth and your value as an athlete. And to put that into like a gym kind of context for you is that everyone's workload threshold is different. Everyone has a different enemy or neuromuscular efficiency, for example, which is kind of like where if you have two people with the exact same stats, they have the same height, weight, they're the same gender, maybe they have like a similar background athletically, and they actually have similar strength numbers. They can have the same goal and even have the same potential, but they need to approach it differently because of the way they're built genetically underneath their external appearance. So like person A responds better to high reps at a lighter weight, and they recover a lot faster in between sessions or reps or sets. And person B, they actually respond really well to low sets and reps at really heavier weights and with longer intervals of rest. This, literally neither is better than the other. They just require different protocols to get where they're going. I'm like using way too many hands right now. Okay. They need different protocols to get to where they're going. At first, oh, hi, Tracy. I miss you. Okay. At first glance, you're thinking that person A that I said before, who gets to do higher reps and recovers a lot faster, and it like looks way more badass in the videos and that kind of stuff. You're thinking like, that's sick, that person's athletic as, and you're maybe even picturing like the CrossFit Games. But I mean, you have to admit that walking into the gym and quickly busting out 3 sets of 3 and piecing out as soon as possible because you need to get home and rest a ton is also pretty awesome too. So what I'm trying to say here is that whichever one works best for you, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to compare yourself to someone else. You can listen to your body and figure out which one works best for you. And if you're taking more rest, it does not mean that you are, not working as hard, or you are not as valuable, or you are not as worthy, or you are not good enough. Like, it doesn't mean any of those things. Just figure out which one works for you by starting to listen better to your responses, what your body's saying to you, and how you're covering. So my question is, do you work out regardless of how you feel because you know you're meant to feel tired? Just think a little more deeply about this when you're getting ready to go to the gym and you're feeling worn down, because we all have those days where we're like, oh gosh, I really don't want to. And then ask yourself, just to figure out if you should be going or not really, is what do you think the benefits are of not resting while you're feeling this way, or of just scaling your workout while you're feeling this way? And what do you think are the benefits of resting more and scaling back? I think that you can typically think pretty objectively when you ask yourself these questions. But, do you think that you could trade one day off for, 3 or more good days of training? So would you rather have 5 straight terrible days of training because you're so tired, or take 1 day or even 2 days off so that, the next 3 in a row are great? No harm is going to come from some experiments with this while you're trying to work out which works best for you. So if you train 6 days a week, which I know a lot of our members do because they're super hard workers and we've got a lot of athletes, and you notice that you're regularly feeling sluggish, like a lot, try seeing what reducing 5 to 5 days does. And you can test that for 1 or 2 weeks, and it's not going to hurt you. It is literally not going to affect how much food you get to eat. Your weight is not going to suddenly go up. There's no insidious weight gain, and your body is not going to be like, hey, why are you not stressing me out right now? Like, I will immediately undo all of the hard work that you've done right now if you do not get back into the gym for this 12th session of the week. Okay, sorry. So fun fact is that many people actually do see results, especially during a plateau, from reducing their training volume. And this is something that you should seriously consider if you're hitting a plateau right now. Like, maybe you're overdoing it. Maybe more isn't actually going to get you further. So if you're unsure that reducing training load is the right thing for you, how are you feeling? Like, are you sleeping well? And ask yourself, okay, with all of these signals in mind from my body, why wouldn't reducing my training load right now help me? Hopefully that helps. Okay, question number 2 is, do you sleep easily through the night? Or maybe you can't stay awake and bed is often on your mind. Do you struggle to get up in the morning? Any of those signs can be a major sign of stress and fatigue. So if you're having trouble sleeping at night, and you've looked at all the other possible issues like blue light exposure and room darkness, it's time to take a look at your daily schedule. If you're working too much and trying to fit in a lot of training in between, I did that for a really long time, and looking back, it didn't go very well for me at all. And I really thought that I could, and I felt fine. But in hindsight, I wasn't. So it's actually a tough one to objectively think about. And while your sleep is suffering, you are going to need to step back in order to move forward and to avoid injury. So a very easy signal, if you're not really sure, is just how many hours you're sleeping. And a lot of people are recommending, like, if you have only slept 6 hours or less, you definitely need to scale down and do lighter movement. Like, literally just take a walk and go to bed. But seriously, sleep is very important. And if you're not getting it, you are ignoring your signals. Like, you should definitely be sleeping more if you're tired. Just hands down, it's black and white. Okay, how consistently good is actually your training or your workouts? Have you been having more rubbish sessions than good? Are you having to dig deep every single week? Because digging deep is totally where the gains are made. Whether you're a competitive athlete or you're just working towards some gains and body composition goals, you know, digging deep and pushing the limits and progressive overload, it's the thing. But if you're having to drag yourself to the gym every single day and go to like a maximal effort all the time, like all of the time, it's not serving you. When your moderate workouts are feeling like max workouts, that's an even bigger sign. Can you listen to your aches and pains every day and assess, do I skip scale or can I really still go for it? Listen to your joints. They're like swelling and aching is telling you something. Now, are you the opposite? Like, are you sort of not pushing as hard as you could be? You know, it's not all sorrow over here. Like, we don't have to just be talking about signals of when you need to stop. Could you be pushing harder and taking advantage of having more energy and, you know, really going for it in your workout and like doing the heavier weight or really trying to go for a max, because this is the time when you're feeling really good. So you should go for it. Okay. Actually, I made this for you. How hard that you should push versus like how you feel, regardless of your goals, is actually a really, really simple visual. If you feel great, you can train at a high intensity, guys. If you feel okay, you can train moderately. And if you feel bad, low, like real low, guys. It was just funny to me how simple that really can be. Okay, nearly there. Mostly for the women, this one, I think, but if there are some guys, I would love to know this. But does training make you cry? So I actually cry sometimes because it's intense. And, you know, I know that Taylor, our COO, and she's a really, really amazing weightlifter, and she cries too, because sometimes it's just hard. And I know that Jessica Lucero, who is a multi-time national champion, she cries too, and she just tells people, just ignore it. It's just happening because of the intensity. So it's not because you're sad, and it's just a physical reaction to the exertion that you're experiencing it's a step on the road to greatness as an athlete. But if you assess how regularly this is happening, and is it something that's worth noting to your coach, it's definitely, like, I cried in my workout today, is definitely something worth telling your, your fitness coach, or your lifting coach, or whatever sport you do. It's a really great indicator of where you're at and where your exertion level is at. And they need your feedback on that to keep you alive. So don't let that become a super, super frequent occurrence. It's just way too stressful on you, no matter what level that you're at. So if this is happening and you do not have a competition goal, you're not at all like a competitive athlete, there's like literally zero reason that you need to be taking yourself to this limit. And I give you permission to just never, ever do that. And just stop doing that. No crying if you don't need to be crying. Okay, skipping workouts makes me anxious. And how can I combat this? So I really feel this one. You know, first of all, what are the reasons you're feeling anxious? And here are some fun ones that have happened to me before that maybe have happened to you before. I'm not good enough or worthy enough to rest yet. I don't work out hard enough to earn my rest. I need to work out to earn my food. If I don't work out, I'll lose all my gains and I'll gain all of the weight. And I'm not a real athlete if I rest, and I will never be good enough if I take a day off today. So now that I've said them all out loud, I can ask myself, like, why would these be true? And what evidence do I have for any of this? And working through the mental struggles of this kind of thing is like a camel that's far bigger than I can wrangle today, which is a saying that I just invented, but it's a good one. So some tangible advice that I have for you is to replace those times that you would normally, messages. What's that? Oh yeah, tangible advice. I would totally replace all of those times that you would normally work out with more restorative practice that still makes sense, or still like makes you feel, like you're doing something in place of that workout. So I really like doing restorative yoga or gentle, like hatha, I think it's called. It's really, really chill kind of yoga. Like you still get to put your yoga pants on and you get to go somewhere for an hour. And sometimes it's like challenging mentally and all that kind of good stuff. So it's a really great way to fill the I need to work out during this time slot. Also, ROMWOD is like good if that's your jam. Same with stretch sessions. You know that you're meant to be stretching anyway, so you may as well make a thing of it. Massage is my favorite because I allow myself to count this as a training session. Like I will literally be lying on the table and I'll be like, this is a workout right now, because it is. I'm doing something that is bettering my body and improving my body, and it's like way more than continuing to run myself in the ground while every single joint in my body is snapping with every move that I make. You can sleep and take a nap. So if the goal is improving fitness, health, and performance, how is it not smart to work a sleep and nap into your training schedule? So if you can pause and just shift your thinking on this, I'm not taking a nap because I'm lazy. I'm taking a nap because my body and my organs perform millions of functions a day. It feels good. Okay, and water in the beach. So we're not talking like swimming intense laps. Instead, you can go and literally float around and like join the elderly people that walk up and down the pool. And if you live near a beach, you could dive in and get some like free cryotherapy. It's like way cheaper and very effective. Now, I truly think that filling the slot that you would normally work out in with something else when you're feeling tired and run down, but you're kind of too anxious to skip workouts at this stage, is a great step in that direction. So I'm really interested in what other people do to fill in that void, because that's really helpful information for me personally. I definitely struggle with this. Okay, real quick one just for the ladies is, are you getting your period? Because the great thing about being a woman is that we have a very unbiased measurement for our current stress and health levels, which is our cycle. It does not lie. If you're not getting it, you need to investigate that, because it can be caused by overexertion and chronic stress, amongst many other things. So if your work coach doesn't know, please let them know, because they might be encouraging you to do something like overstress your body and like really, do a weight cut, when right now that's not the best thing for you. It's not serving you at this time. There's a time and place for that. But if you're not having a healthy cycle, I think that needs to be addressed immediately. So think of it like a monthly report card and of how stressed your body is. If you didn't get it, then hide it from your parents and do better next time. Okay. Are you struggling to stick to your nutrition plan altogether? This is one of my favorites. Being tired and run down and sleep deprived and stressed can be a factor in why you are having a hard time with adherence. So maybe your mind and body are searching for more calories to help you with some level of stress and exertion you're facing. Maybe you're just stress eating because you're hurting and tired and stressed out. And if you're tired, you might be struggling to sleep. And if you're struggling to sleep, you might be compensating by searching for more food to eat. So you might have a much better time getting, back to where you want to be with your nutrition plan if you can just rest up a little more, rather than trying to fight through and like overcompensate because you overate. Do you see how that's kind of like a cycle? Okay. Now, I'm going to finish up with just this last piece about something that you can do. I'm terrible at observing the patterns in my thoughts and behaviors. And honestly, journaling is a huge tool for me. So when I write about how my mind and body feels consistently, I'm actually asking myself these questions and paying attention. I can also correlate how my nutrition and my workouts are going. And, what kind of thoughts am I having lately around that? And what is the pattern that I'm seeing in my daily schedule and what I'm thinking about and how much I'm eating or how sore I am or how I'm performing. And when I can see more clearly where all the areas of self-care are that I should be visiting, but I'm not, it's really, really helpful. So starting to write it down and just becoming like aware, bringing to the forefront how each of those areas are feeling for you, that's going to help you a lot. So if you have a training journal and that's like all that you do, I would write down at the beginning and end of your sessions how you're feeling, how you went, like what you can correlate that with that happened yesterday or earlier in the day. In your training log, it's not just about your sets and reps and how your workout was. It can be about how your whole day was and all of the other training that you did, like sleeping and getting massages. Okay, I hope that this gave you a little something to think about, and you'll consider listening more to the instincts of your mind and body if you think like, maybe I do ignore my sore knee a little too much. And when you start digging deeper into why you might be feeling and thinking the way that you do, it starts to get really, really interesting, and you get to take back control of your life a little more, and it's quite liberating. It's quite liberating to rest more. So with that, all y'all have a great weekend and a wonderful WAG Unplugged, and I can't wait to see all of you again next time. Bye.